Two people stand in the exact same room, under the exact same conditions. One feels an immediate sense of danger. Their chest tightens with anxiety. The other looks around and feels a deep, radiating sense of possibility and peace. They are standing in the exact same neutral field of reality, the canvas. But that canvas remains entirely invisible to us without a filter. We experience the world through a lens. That lens is human belief. It acts as a living filter, catching that chaotic data field to organize our experience. When a belief shifts, it dictates what information is ignored or distorted, altering the very structure of your perceived reality. We are reacting to the specific tint of the glass we've been handed, usually forgetting the glass is even there. We don't build this glass ourselves. Long before we are old enough to speak, we are handed a starter set of lenses by our families and our culture. We absorb this starter set through our inner circle's unspoken atmosphere, the quiet traumas, performative behaviors, and rigid societal expectations of our specific era. Culture presents us with a predetermined list of options. It defines right and wrong, success and failure, this political party or that one. It hands us this binary list and tells us we must choose from it. The menu is not the meal. By accepting this limited starter set as absolute truth, we unknowingly lock ourselves into a reality we never consciously chose. When a cultural or religious vessel exists for long enough, its priorities tend to shift. The original truth it was built to hold is abandoned in favor of preserving the institution itself. It hardens into an egregore, a collective thought form. It stops serving the people and begins feeding on their devotion, demanding strict loyalty to guarantee its own survival. An egregore functions by overriding individual sovereignty. It replaces personal thought with collective conformity and mass emotional fervor. Human architects like politicians, corporate marketers, and religious authorities understand how this works. These gatekeepers know that belief shapes reality, and they actively manipulate these egregores to consolidate power. The ultimate goal of a gatekeeper is rarely brute force. They secure power by manufacturing your consent, convincing you that stepping off their approved menu will result in chaos and exile. When a seeker begins to doubt or stumble, these systems rely on a specific psychological mechanism to maintain control. The system never investigates its own flaws. Instead, it shifts the blame entirely onto the individual. This chart maps out the closed loop of the blame cycle. The individual takes an action. If they succeed, the system claims credit. If they fail, the system assigns blame, telling the person they are flawed by nature, while demanding they constantly strive to prove their worth. Forgiveness might be dangled as a theoretical reward, but practical trust is permanently withheld. The seeker is trapped in a recursive loop, locked into an orbit of inadequacy and perpetual debt. This resulting shame functions as fuel for the egregore, a survival instinct designed to prevent the self-reflection that would dismantle the construct. The feeling of being completely broken is a structural feature, engineered to keep you tethered, fearful, and dependent on external authority. Stepping off that menu is a terrifying act. When you leave the inherited system behind, you experience a sharp dissonance, a sense of spiritual homelessness. That feeling of being trapped in a cage and separated from the truth is a universal human ache. It's captured better by art than doctrine. When Pink Floyd sang about exchanging a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage, they were naming the central trait of these constructs, sacrificing freedom for the illusion of safety. This leaves the newly freed seeker with a crucial question. Without gatekeepers, dogmas, or approved menus, how do we discern which beliefs are actually true? We evaluate them by using the fruit test. We evaluate a belief not by its aesthetic form or the perceived authority of the speaker, but strictly by its long-term output. This chart tracks how the fruit test works in practice. We look to see if a held belief generates freedom, peace, and connection. Conversely, we check if it slowly rots into fear, division, and isolation. True alignment with the source of reality never demands blind obedience. It only ever produces the fruit of genuine liberation. Belief serves as a temporary bridge to carry us across uncertainty. We wear these frameworks until they no longer fit, then discard them for a larger perspective. With that freedom comes responsibility, the ripple effect. The consciously chosen frequency of your belief, whether peace or fear, inherently alters the nervous systems and the realities of your inner circle. An individual who steps off the menu and returns to their sovereign alignment introduces a new frequency that actively reshapes the stagnant field around them. By recognizing belief as a lens and rigorously testing it by its fruit, you stop being a passive prisoner of someone else's egregore. You become an active co-creator of your own world.